I'm getting ready to start my day. It's not ideal again, it's 12:20, but actually I started my day at 5:30 a.m. I wake up to get the lunch and breakfast ready for my husband because he leaves for work at 6:30. But my 1-year-old, he woke up at the same time. He went back to bed at around 11 a.m. My youngest, she took a nap at 12 at noon. Hopefully it allows me some time to at least finish this video. Thank you for being here. I know that you have a lot of things to do and there are other channels that you could be scrolling up and down, and so thank you for choosing to stay with me. There is one more thing that I started doing as part of my personal growth. I did this a lot when I was a teenager. Instead of going to dancing and partying, I like to spend my time reading. So I was feeling kind of down. So the way that I put myself back up, I give myself time to feel pity, and then I say, hey Vanessa, this is not you, so let's go, get ready. When I had my postpartum depression, I bought this book. This book actually is a heal. This one helped me to go through my postpartum depression a lot because it's a really good book and we'll talk about it in the future. Sometimes, like yesterday, I could not do anything, like anything other than taking care of my babies and cleaning the home. I could not read. I had to read after they went to bed with the flashlight of the phone. I put that towards the book and I was reading while babies were sleeping. And sometimes I want to feel like this is BS. I should be able to do more. I'm going to give up. Nobody's watching my channel anyways. But then I remember that, again, that's not me. I remember a time when it was just my mom, my sister, and I, after my parents got divorced. I was about 17 years old. I had turned 18 when they separated. And as soon as I started working, because I told my mom, don't worry, we're gonna be able to be on our own. My parents were fighting all the time, so it was not worth it. I told my mom that she deserved to be happy. And I told her that I will support her, that we could do it together. So as soon as I got my paycheck, I will give the full paycheck to my mom, so we could go buy groceries and pay bills, etc., etc. But sometimes my first job was in Reno in a casino. My parents were not split at that time, but I could see that we were going there. It was so hard to get up like at 4 a.m. because I think my shift started at 6 at the casino. Anyway, I never felt that I needed to keep the money, so I gave everything to my mom. She will use it wisely towards what was needed. Sometimes we didn't know what we were gonna do, or we were really sure, and I could see that maybe my mom was kind of afraid, and I was afraid, but my job was to not show it. So I would say, oh, don't worry, we are going to get through this. Inside, I didn't know. I didn't know how we were gonna get through that. At the time, I remember that moving from my brother's place to my aunt's place, the three of us, my mom, my sister, and I, we will fit in a sports car. It was a Nissan XL 240 or something like that, but it was a two-door car, and the three of us will fit on that car with everything we possessed, everything that we had, and us fit on that car. I remember back then, and we have come a long ways. But my point on this is that I was so young, and I always knew that we could do whatever we decided, and even though I didn't know how, I knew that I was gonna make it happen. But then I grew old, and I was following the same motto per se until I had my baby boy. At that time, my mom moved out. We were living together for since I was 17 all the way to when I was 34. But my mom moved out, and I think that I got more depressed at that time than when I got divorced, my first marriage. That's when I forgot how my brain was capable of bringing into reality, bringing to me what I wanted. Yes, I worked hard for everything. I was a workaholic. At one point in my life, when my oldest baby, when I had her, I was working full-time and going to college full-time. I don't know how I managed to do all of those things and being a mom. When my baby boy was born, he's 1 year old now. When he was born, it's kind of like I forgot what I was capable of doing. It was like I did not recognize myself anymore. I was depressed before my baby was born, and it just got worse when he was born, because then I guess I got postpartum depression. I don't know. My life changed 360 degrees around me. Although I was happy with my family, and I just became the queen of excuses. I will take naps all day with my baby, and I didn't want to get up. And when I forced myself to do something, it felt so painful. But only my husband knew about it. He was the only one that noticed it, and I got his support. It was not enough, because it had to come from me. And it was not coming from me because I was stuck. And I remember trying to do things even though it was painful as hell. And then I remember, if I did this, if I got out of my depression when I was 15, 16 years old by myself. I had a friend, he let me borrow his books and he talked to me about it. So it was not just by myself, but without going to talk to a therapist, you know. Then I said to myself, okay, Vanessa, you are 34 years old right now, and this is killing you. This is not you. So then I went to the bookstore, I got myself a book, and I started reading about healing and how powerful is your thoughts, and how you can heal yourself from winning. And I am a real estate agent, so sometimes I will go on the weekends to host an open house, hoping to get clients there. But all of those things that I had to do outside of my house were so painful, and I felt like my body was walking and people looked at me, but I was kind of looking from the outside. I remember that I tried really hard to not have people notice that something was going on with me, that I was not concentrating, that it was like I was here but I was absent. I remember complaining about my depression to my husband probably for a month, every day or every other day. Then one day I decided to not do it anymore because I was not moving anywhere by complaining. So one day I said, okay, I'm here, what I'm gonna do to get better, because nobody else will help me other than me. And then I started curing myself, because I didn't want to tell to anybody other than my husband about what was going in my mind. And I remember that my pregnancy was high risk. He had a growth restriction. So that, on top of the changes around my life that were happening, didn't help. Till one day I said, okay, enough. And then I started reading my books. And when I got pregnant of my third baby, I was diagnosed with thyroid. So they gave me medication for that. And I guess that one of the side effects of that problem is that you also feel tired all the time. So imagine, I had my depression from before because my mom moved out. I had my depression because my baby was at high risk during pregnancy. And I had my postpartum depression, but on top of all that, I also had thyroid, and I didn't know. When they diagnosed that and I started taking my medication, that helped me. Reading my books helped. Doing more things outside of the home helped. And then I started watching videos like this. That's why I'm doing this video, because I started watching other videos of people that talk about how we have the power within ourselves. And it makes sense, because all the time things will happen the way I wanted them to happen, and I felt lucky. But it was not that I was lucky, it's that I had the power within me. So then I started hearing and learning about the law of attraction and manifesting, and I got excited, because imagine if I was able to do all of those things, everything that I have manifested without knowing I was manifesting it into my life. But imagine if I did all of that not knowing. Now that I can consciously manifest and attract things to myself, I'm excited. So now that I know that I can attract consciously whatever I want to my life, I am very excited to keep learning and to start sharing this with you. So if you are in the same place I was not too long ago, I hope you're not, but if you are, if it's hard to get up in the morning, if it's hard to keep a conversation with someone, with people, if you cannot concentrate, if people have to keep repeating themselves to you because you are not there, I want you to remember how powerful you are. The brain is so powerful because we are energy. We attract the good things and the bad things. So start thinking positive, because if you think negative, that is not such a thing to cancel with a no. So just avoid thinking at all about whatever bad situations you're going through, and start thinking positive. Start feeling better, wishing the place that you want to be, and start feeling that way, so that you can project that to the universe and get it back in return. It sounds like crazy, I know, but start doing it. Focus your brain for now on positive things. One time I got a flat on my car, and it was in the morning, and I was gonna get late to work, and I thought it could be worse. Maybe if I didn't have the flat, I was gonna have an accident. So I called my boss, I went to the shop. I was lucky enough that they put the emergency tire on my car for free, no charge. And I went to work and I went my way, and I thought it could be worse. Probably because that's the way that I thought from when I was a teenager to my 34-year-old life. Probably that's why I was attracting positive things and making things happen in my life. So just start with that. Just start positive vibes, and don't allow negative people into your world, because they will disturb your inner peace. Talk to you later.